The naval forces of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, are preparing to conduct large-scale live-fire exercises in the Strait of Hormuz on February 1st and 2nd. This announcement was made by Iranian state television on Thursday amidst rising tensions between Tehran and Washington, with both sides increasing their military presence in the region. The Strait of Hormuz is a crucial maritime route for oil exports, connecting major Persian Gulf producers, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, and the United Arab Emirates, with the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea. Nearly one-fifth of the world's oil transits through this waterway, making any military activity there significant for global energy markets. Several international media outlets are reporting the deployment of U.S. aircraft carrier strike groups and other military assets to the region. In this context, it remains unclear whether the planned exercises are routine or intended to send a signal. Analysts suggest that scheduled live-fire drills might highlight aspects of Iranian naval operations, but their actual impact remains uncertain. The IRGC Navy operates independently from Iran's regular navy and focuses on the Persian Gulf region. The Strait of Hormuz represents a critical choke point for global energy supplies, with oil tankers from major Persian Gulf producers transiting daily. Any disruption to traffic in the strait would immediately impact global oil prices and energy security. The narrow waterway is approximately 21 miles wide at its narrowest point, with shipping lanes passing close to Iranian territorial waters. This geography provides Iran with potential leverage over maritime traffic, a point highlighted in previous confrontations with Western powers. The strait connects the Persian Gulf, where major oil-producing countries' export terminals are located, with the Gulf of Oman, and from there, to global shipping routes. Iranian media and defense analysts described the naval component of the IRGC as being focused on operations within the Persian Gulf. The IRGC maintains its own naval forces, separate from Iran's regular navy. This division of responsibilities places the IRGC Navy at the center of any potential confrontations in the strait. These forces have developed capabilities suited for the shallow and congested waters of the Persian Gulf. The announcement of exercises specifically by the IRGC Navy, rather than the regular fleet, underscores the strategic importance Tehran places on the strait. The IRGC reports directly to Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei and possesses significant autonomy within Iran's security structure. Iranian state media describe a naval doctrine centered on swarm warfare, using large numbers of small, fast boats to overwhelm larger adversaries. This approach turns the limited waters of the Gulf and Strait into an advantage rather than a limitation. It is clear that Iran's naval exercises in the Strait of Hormuz have garnered international attention. However, it remains uncertain whether these exercises will demonstrate stated capabilities or focus on other aspects of naval operations. Previous Iranian exercises have included various elements, including small, fast boats, which state media report are designed for shallow water operations in the Persian Gulf. Iranian state media has mentioned "1" vessels as part of the IRGC Navy's capabilities, characterizing them as small, fast boats with specific features. However, concrete claims have not been independently verified by defense analysts. The emphasis on small, fast boats reflects the geographical realities of the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz, where large vessels have limited maneuverability. Iranian doctrine, as described by state media, emphasizes exploiting these geographical constraints against larger adversaries. However, it is not specified whether such vessels will participate in the February exercises. Additionally, state media has referenced a vessel named Shahed Begari, described as a drone aircraft carrier, although independent confirmation of its role or capabilities is lacking. State television footage showed a large vessel at sea, though specific claims about its capabilities cannot be independently confirmed. According to Iranian media, the vessel was converted from a commercial container ship and can launch unmanned aerial vehicles. Deploying such a vessel near the Strait of Hormuz would represent an expansion of Iranian naval capabilities, if true. The Iranian agency reported that the Iranian army received a consignment of 1,000 drones. The announcement was accompanied by warnings from Army Commander Amir Hatami about preparing for threats and delivering a crushing response to any aggressor. The emphasis on drones reflects Iranian investment in unmanned systems, which analysts believe could be used in various scenarios, including operations in and around the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, several international media outlets report that U.S. aircraft carrier strike groups and other assets are heading to the region amid heightened tensions with Iran. The presence of a strike group represents significant American military power near the Persian Gulf. The buildup of U.S. military force provides options for various scenarios, depending on how the situation develops. President Trump stated, "U.S. warships are heading to the region." In comments quoted by major publications, he added, "We have a lot of very large and powerful ships, and it would be great if we didn't have to use them." The timing of the Iranian exercises in the Strait of Hormuz, against the backdrop of the U.S. military buildup nearby, creates a situation where both sides are demonstrating military might. It is unclear whether this represents preparation for conflict or mutual deterrence. Tensions in the region are escalating. President Trump announced the deployment of U.S. naval forces to the region, stating, "By the way, another beautiful armada is now sailing beautifully toward Iran." He emphasized his hope for a diplomatic resolution to the conflict, saying, "So we'll see. Hopefully they will negotiate." Thus, Trump demonstrates a dual approach. On one hand, military pressure, and on the other, a willingness to negotiate. The contrast between the U.S. naval presence and Iranian military exercises in the Strait of Hormuz underscores the opposing military postures of the two countries. Both sides are demonstrating their military might while leaving room for a diplomatic resolution. U.S. officials present the military positioning as a means to pressure Iran into a deal while maintaining military options. Iranian officials, however, view the U.S. troop buildup as gunboat diplomacy, using military might to intimidate rather than engage in genuine negotiations. They accuse the U.S. of attempting to project fear through military displays rather than seeking diplomatic solutions. Rear Admiral Ali Fadavi stated that any military adventure against Iran would have severe consequences. Iran's leadership emphasizes that advanced technology alone does not determine the outcome of war, citing past conflicts as proof of Iranian resilience and capabilities. This message from Tehran underscores Iran's willingness to fight despite U.S. technological superiority. Regional oil-producing countries are closely monitoring the situation in the Strait of Hormuz due to their reliance on this waterway for oil exports. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, and other nations have vital economic interests in ensuring free passage through the strait. International reports indicate that Saudi Arabia and the UAE have signaled unwillingness to use their territory for strikes against Iran. Any incident during the Iranian military exercises could exacerbate tensions, affecting regional stability and oil markets. The shipping and insurance industries will closely monitor the situation to assess its impact on commercial traffic through the strait. Past Iranian military activities in the waterway have already affected shipping routes and insurance premiums for vessels passing through the area. Tensions are rising in the Strait of Hormuz, with serious implications for global energy supplies. Nearly 1/5 of the world's oil passes through this waterway, and any disruption could affect prices. Energy analysts note that the current situation has already created uncertainty in oil markets. Any military activity in the Strait of Hormuz has the potential to impact global oil prices. Iranian authorities announced live fire exercises from February 1st to 2nd, raising questions about how this will affect commercial shipping. It is currently unclear whether shipping lanes will be affected, or if warnings have been issued to maritime traffic. Military exercises typically involve various activities, and live fire exercises imply the actual firing of weapons. Previous Iranian exercises in the region have included fast boat operations, missile tests, and drone activities. The announcement of exercises, without detailed information on the scale and activities, creates uncertainty for other parties operating in or near the strait. The history of incidents in the Strait of Hormuz highlights the potential for escalation, whether from deliberate actions or miscalculation. Iranian forces have seized tankers, harassed foreign vessels, and conducted various activities in the strait during previous periods of tension. The current situation is characterized by a demonstration of military capabilities by both the United States and Iran in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. naval positioning and Iranian exercises represent parallel displays of force. Each side is signaling strength while leaving room for a diplomatic resolution. The exercise announcement fits into Iranian deterrence, demonstrating that Iran is capable of acting in the strait regardless of the U.S. buildup. However, this competition in deterrence creates pressure and the risk of miscalculation if one side misinterprets the other's intentions. Military forces operating in close proximity during exercises and deployments create scenarios where incidents could trigger escalation not intended by either side. Amidst the ongoing crisis between the U.S. and Iran, Tehran has announced naval exercises in the Strait of Hormuz from February 1st to 2nd. This move adds another layer of complexity to the already tense situation in the region. Despite the military positioning, diplomatic channels remain active. Turkey is positioning itself as a potential mediator. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi plans to visit Turkey this Friday. Various regional powers, including Pakistan, India, and Russia, are engaging with both Washington and Tehran, urging restraint and offering avenues for communication. This multifaceted diplomatic activity reflects widespread concern about where the current trajectory of events might lead. Iran emphasizes its willingness to negotiate under appropriate conditions. According to state media, the success of diplomatic efforts in preventing escalation depends on decisions made in Washington and Tehran, which external actors can influence but not control. Thus, the crisis continues with a parallel track of military demonstrations and diplomatic engagement. The announced exercise period creates a specific window during which observers will closely monitor developments in the strait. Several key factors will be under scrutiny by governments, markets, and analysts. The scale of activities conducted, whether limited demonstrations or comprehensive operations, will provide insight into Iran's intentions. Any activities conducted near commercial shipping lanes or foreign vessels will attract particular attention, given the current tensions. U.S. and other naval forces in the region will likely closely monitor the exercises, creating the potential for close encounters between Iranian and foreign military assets. How both sides manage proximity during this period will influence perceptions of escalation risk. Market reactions to the exercises will depend on whether they impact commercial shipping and if any incidents occur. The exercises represent an Iranian signal during a period when U.S. forces are building up nearby. It is not specified whether the timing is coincidental or a deliberate move to convey a specific message. For observers tracking the situation, the period from February 1st to 2nd represents a window of heightened attention. The exercises themselves, Any potential incidents and market reactions will be monitored as indicators of the crisis's direction. The broader trajectory of events towards escalation, de-escalation, or continued confrontation remains uncertain. The exercises are just one element in a complex picture where military power, diplomatic engagement, and regional dynamics interact to shape possible outcomes.